Beats by Dallas, make it hurt.
Hello and welcome to the Project Passion 2020 Rewind. You already know this is the podcast made to inspire you to follow your passion and turn a successful business or career. Now, I think we can all agree that this year hasn't exactly been plain sailing for any of us, has it? Had a little bit of a pandemic on our hands, but that said, probably for me, one of the best things other than my business to come out of this year has been my podcast. I've had so much fun sitting down with my friends, making new friends and just chatting with other entrepreneurs and people out there hustling, seeing what it is they're doing, how they're doing it, and how other people can do that and implement what them people have done to be successful. And of course, I know a lot of the listeners out there have also benefited from the podcast, whether that's in great value, great entertainment. The response I've had since the very first episode from you guys, the people watching and listening, has been insane. And obviously I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, this probably would have stopped at episode 4, episode 5, if it hadn't been for the fact that people have actually, took it upon themselves to not only listen, but they message me, to get in touch through Facebook or Instagram and say they've enjoyed it and say, what direction they would like me to go with it and what things they want to see on the podcast and on the show. And that for me has just been mind-blowing. So yeah, honestly, I appreciate every single person that's ever watched an episode, liked, commented, followed, subscribed, rated it on one of the audio platforms. You are the G's, you are the real MVPs in this, and thank you, I do appreciate it. That being said, if you are new to the channel, if you've not seen any of the podcasts, heard any of them before, please consider going and hitting that subscribe button down below if you're listening to it. You might just want to go and follow the podcast, leave a review. But, if this is the type of content you like, feel free to follow. We always like more people in the community, and hit that notification bell, turn notifications on. Equally, if podcast isn't your thing, feel free to go over and check out my main channel. That's where I post React videos, and coming in this year I'm going to have a lot more content going out there. So if that's more your speed, feel free to go over and check that out. Drop a subscribe if you really want. Check out the videos. Might be something you like. So speaking of all the guests that have been on the podcast this year, let's have a quick reminder of everyone that's been on the podcast and what they do.
Well, I'm Layla.
My name's Daniel Tate.
We have Kevin Maxwell on the show.
I play guitar.
Hi, I'm Emily.
Full-time MMA fighter, Ross McCourse.
Lead singer, songwriter, partner rhythm.
My name's Acid. I own an agency called MME London.
Smoking one with Trip.
Mark Bezic, actor and musician.
Musician, drummer. I'm in a band called Free.
I'm Colm Slattery from Fluttertone.
I work under the name All Changed.
My name's Ben Rosso.
Founder and CEO of ClickScope, Sam Darcy.
My name's Eric.
My name is Jose Lugo. Previously was active duty army.
I'm Craig Cooney. I'm a 26-year-old hip-hop artist.
I'm Roulette. I'm an indie pop artist.
My name's Dustin Dixon. I'm an author. I've recently self-published my debut novel, The Unnaturals.
I mean, just watching that, honestly, not only the amount of people I've had on the podcast, but some of the actual people themselves that I've managed to get on has blown my own mind. I mean, I'm a fan of everyone that I've had on the podcast, but for some of the people, I am an actual fan of the content they create, or, what they put out, what the product of their hustle is. I'm actually a massive fan, so to be able to speak to those people and chat to them and find out how they've done what they've done has been insane. That said, there isn't exactly enough time to go through everyone that's been on the podcast and go through all the clips. So I've kind of taken the clips that have, done the best, I got the best response from, or, that had the best ratings, or, that people have messaged me and said that they got value from, the most valuable content. And I've kind of just put them together from, and in no order, by the way. The only order I've put them in is episode order, that's it. So if you're on the podcast and one of your clips didn't make it into the rewind, I apologize. But obviously, I need to keep it for time-wise. And I took the most valuable stuff and the stuff that people had already got back in touch and said that was valuable for them. And I just wanted to put it back on and kind of go back and, in hindsight, look at these clips and kind of break them down as well. In fact, first thought, actually, would you just take a look at the fucking quality on this? Because, granted, episode 1, there was no video for. Episode 2 was recorded on a phone, so, bit better. But honestly, from episode, 3 through to 10, they were dog shit video quality. Audio, not so bad, but the video quality was shocking. I mean, just look at this, right? I'll stick it up on screen now. This is episode 4, right? I mean, at one point I was even using a dodgy, virtual background. Like it was, man, thank God for the equipment level up when I took it, or when I got it, because it was seriously needed. Some of that content is shocking that I first put out. And even my own ability to host podcasts, I think, has got a lot better just looking back through all these here and making this and seeing like the first episode how I was talking, second episode how I interviewed people at the start compared to now where I can like free flow it a lot better and break down what they say and get more questions from that. Check out the quality on that. That's if I was still releasing podcasts of this quality, I do not think I'd have half the viewership that I currently do. That's shocking. So the first clip is from episode 10 with Mark Bezic.
For the people that are going to be listening in, that are interested in acting or interested to get into what you're doing, would you have tips for them people? How do get started, no matter what age they are, and how to really grind it out and start actually making moves?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, you need to get into acting lessons. You need to get into acting classes. You need to experience it firsthand. You need to be surrounded by people with the same passion as you. And ultimately, what the acting industry is, it's very, 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 very difficult. But it's also very rewarding at the same time. I mean, what a lot of people do is they'll just get negged out. They won't have the same passion for it once auditions do go wrong. I mean, I've been told no 2,000 times and, been told yeah, 50 times. And it's just about having that perseverance, having that grit to just keep going and going, and not even hope. Hope's a bit of a weak word. Faith, having faith, and being sure of yourself, and knowing that you're gonna get somewhere someday. Like I said, you just got to be the best person that you can be in your craft, and then once the opportunity comes, you just got to make sure you smash it. So acting is hard, yeah, but it's a great industry. It's very rewarding, and it's a great industry. So yeah, definitely get into acting lessons. Seek and search agents. Do little show reels with different people. Maybe do university projects. Do short films. Just get involved with it as much as you can, because in this industry as well, it is very, very social. And you can do a lot of networking through different producers and directors and casting directors. So someone who you might think has just got a little project, in a few years they could have built up an incredible CV, and now they're on to bigger, better things and remember you. So it's just about doing as much stuff as possible, but without damaging your career and doing stuff that you might think, oh, should I? Just go with your gut. You know what I mean?
And you've never bothered to go near like the YouTube scene, have you? You've never bothered to go down that as like a straight route, no?
No, I haven't. No, to be fair, I don't know. I like to just keep myself to myself in terms of that. Yeah, it is a social industry, and you do need to network, but I've never really been the best at that, to be fair. I've trying different stuff. I just do what I do, and if you want me, come and get me.
So the next clip is from episode 11, Shawnee Tai talking about Life Before 3, which is the band he's in with Mitch Vulcan, based out in Australia. If you haven't watched the full episode, we talk about it in it, but Shawnee's one of them ones that I never thought I would get on the podcast. Someone like that as well, that's so well known, has such a fan base himself. But yeah, we talk about it in the podcast how I actually met Shawnee. He was in a band called The Fame, and they were over here opening up for Lauren Atlantis. Doing a UK tour, and just so happened, after the gig, I met Sean, I met the rest of the lads, Josh and Stevie Burke and stuff, and we got on really well. We ended up going on a night out with them, we ended up going partying with them that night, and me and Shawnee just stayed in touch. And we chat all the time, and it just so happened that when I asked him, he jumped at the chance to come on the podcast. Granted, he was helping me out more than himself, but I'll not say no. I got us insane guest, and I got to have a really good chat, and get to know him a lot better as well. So yeah, check it out. This is Shawnee Tai talking about his Life Before 3, and when he was with The Fame, signing a recording contract and rebranding from being called Small Town Heroes to The Fame. Sort of takes the mainstream music by storm, and talks about that whole story, why he left The Fame, why he started 3 with Mitch Vulcan, and how it's been going so far.
Music is your passion, drumming's your passion.
That's it, brother.
When did you start getting into that and thinking about it as a career?
Yeah, it wasn't until, so I started drums when I was 10 years old. I think 10 or 11, and I've been playing drums ever since, 24 now. So I started getting serious when I was probably around 16, I think, or maybe 15. And it was actually I was in a cover band for a while, and then we started to like do some originals, and we were called Amber Down at the time, and we weren't taking it seriously. It was just a bit of fun, you know. And these guys were like nearly 30 years old, and I was like 17 or something like that. And I remember just like going there just for fun, and they were like, "Man, you're so like tight on the drums. You should think about, you know, doing it seriously, or you'll just keep on, you know, like working on it." So ever since then, I just started to like really get into drumming. And then I looked at my idols, like such as like Travis from Blink, Travis Barker, and then all the drummers that are sort of like really, when they play, it's like a lot of the energy goes behind the kit rather than technical, because you got your technical drummers, you got your jazz drummers, you got this. But there's something eye-grabbing about when I go to a show and I see a drummer really rocking out, you know, and like with energy. And I always, who else was it? Aaron Gillespie, I saw play with Paramore at the time. He must have filled in or something, because I don't know what happened there with the drummer thing. But watching him play was just amazing, you know, and I've been inspired by those sort of drummers. So I took it seriously when I was probably around 17, I think, because then I got lucky enough to actually play support Motley Crue, which was just off the cuff, like lucky, because it was like, basically they came to Australia for a tour, but they did this thing where if whatever band gets the most votes in the suburb or the city that you're in gets to be the support, you know. So we got the most votes in Perth at the time, so we got to like play. Yeah, and I was playing Perth Arena. That was my first ever arena show at around 18.
Yeah.
And since when I played that show, yeah, it was, and met those guys, I was like, I just want to do this for the rest of my life, even if, you know, it takes ages or whatever, just to experience it, no matter. Yeah, so I just stuck to it, man, and opportunities came. And
that's it. So obviously, when did you sign? Because obviously, well, where I would know you from to start off would have been Small Town Heroes before the fame.
That's right, yeah.
First band that you were properly signed with and recording, releasing music?
That was the first signing, yeah. So when I was in that Amber Down band, they sort of split up and all that, and I didn't really want to do it anymore. Bass player left and stuff. And then after that, I saw, I got in touch with these guys that were like sort of in the Hills way in Perth, really just liked the vibe and connected on a level that was great, you know, back then. It's sort of, I'll skip later on, it gets a bit messy, but back at the beginning, it was great. Like, you know, so we're just like really fairly new, and I really wanted to go to LA pretty much and live the dream. So we're thinking of opportunities and how to do it. And we started just writing songs, and I thought Josh at the time in that band had a good voice. And I was like, wow, this guy, we could really go somewhere. So I was pushing, you know, emails left, right, and center, just still doing that, like do that every week. And basically, yeah, it just kicked off from there. We got our first deal from BMG, which was in America when we flew. But it was before that, we sort of like we sent songs to this producer, John Feldman, for a while. You know, it was like he was constantly just saying, you need to keep writing, just pushing us, you know. And it was the first ever for me talking to a producer like at that level. It was the first time talking to someone like that. So it was interesting, you know. It was very challenging for me and the rest of the guys. And we just kept doing it. And then so flew out to LA, got our first deal, and then had all these songs written. It was actually the most insane thing, because this producer, John Feldman, knows all these people. So then when he brought all these people that we idolized in, so we had no idea. We rock up on the day, it's like, oh, here's, you know, Pete Wentz, Fall Out Boy, here's this. It's like, it was crazy. So that was like an experience I'll never forget. You know, it was like insane riding with those guys. And it was all, yeah, what happened after that? So basically we started touring for a while. We were doing that for ages. It was fun. It was this. And then towards the end, there was just it was like an issue with the creative process, with basically a falling out, personality clash, typical relationship thing that you would probably have with, you know, if you're, you know, relationships end, or they don't end. It's like, you know, that's just what it is. That's what life is. So we just had a little bit of a clash, and thought, you know, I think I'll be better off doing my own thing, or, you know, doing something with someone else, or working with someone. And that's how I met Mitch now, and I've just, you know, built this other sort of fandom. But it's like, it's crazy when you look at it, when I look back, because I think of all the experiences, all the memories, it's all amazing, you know. So, but unfortunately, yeah, there's a little personality clash.
Pull you back a little bit quickly. Obviously, you were small town heroes, and then you became the Fame. What was that swap? What
was the swap? Yeah. So basically, we were really loving that name, Small Town Heroes. You know, we stuck, and it was like more of a punk sort of vibe. You know, it was like that sort of angst punk, and basically, I think it was John Feldman or someone in that group. They wanted us to change it for whatever reason. I think John was just like, we need sort of more of a universal sort of sound for a name or something like that. I can't remember. I don't know if it was John. I can't remember who it was, but we ended up just like all agreeing, and we came up with that name, the Fame. Yeah. So that's how that started. Yeah.
Yeah, because you obviously as Small Town Heroes, you had Set Free in 2015, the album. And then you had,
oh God, that's a throwback and a half. Jeez.
Which I love the Get Up Get Out EP.
Oh, the Get Out, yeah, that was before the label. Yeah.
Next up, we have episode 12, Colm Slattery from Fluttertone out in Dublin. Quick side note, if you haven't seen on free social media, after this podcast, and I met Colm through a friend. We actually ended up hitting it off, getting on really well. And I now actually work with Fluttertone professionally with my agency to do all their marketing for their artists and stuff like that there. So it would have been a bit of a sin not to put my boy Fluttertone on here and let you check him out. But check this clip out. He's talking about networking, and someone, I mean, honestly, if you're in the music or you're in the music industry and you need to know how to network, this is the man you need to speak to. This is a man that has the lists for all the people you need to talk to. This is a man that can get your shit on blogs. He can have people writing articles about it. This is a man that can get you on the fucking radio. Like, if you're in the music scene or even in the UK, never mind Ireland, go check out Fluttertone, check out my boy Colm. He is the man you need to know. He is the man that you're going to want to know, because he can fucking put you anywhere you want to be. And he will literally put on a show just for you. This is a guy that will manage you the best way possible and the best for your career. So go check out this clip. This is Colm talking about how to network within the marketing industry. How to network within the music industry, and how to actually make connections and how to actually build them relationships with people so as to be successful in that industry.
Is there any sort of content trends or sort of ways that people should look to strategize with their content from a musician point of view?
Yeah, so I notice lately so Instagram is become huge at the moment. So any kind of bumper ads, 15 seconds for Instagram stories is great. Mm-hmm. We've started doing that for our shows now. I concentrate on in 1920 1080 is HD video, mm-hmm. but if you turn it, rotate it that way, it's the size of your phone.
Yeah.
So I'm creating videos 1080 1920 pixels, so it looks good on your phone. Little bumper ad, After Effects videos, mm-hmm. they work amazing. I think that's what kind of grew my playlist at the very, very start. I kind of spent like a good few hours making this kind of cool promo. Follow my playlist, where like this laser light came in and went around the screen and clicked on the follow button, and I think them kind of cool bumper ads really draw attention.
Of course. So obviously you guys are a music PR company. How is it you actually make your money and get custom? Obviously it is a business. I assume this is what you do full time as well.
Yeah, it's still not fully sustainable for me, to be honest. It's kind of up and down.
At the moment, doesn't make that any easier for you at all.
No, not really. So basically as well, before the COVID, my thing was in college I learned how to do good quality sound. So I always have that as my basis, is I'm a live sound engineer. Like I've worked at Electric Picnic and, different things like that, like doing sound and audio. So, but that would be it for the PR basically. So we've different packages. We've designed it so, we've tailored it. It's actually pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So we have like, say like a bronze package, and then you can pick whether you want to us to aim at Spotify playlists for you, or we can aim at blogs, we can aim at radio. So if you know your song isn't quite that radio friendly, and you don't think it will get played on FM 104 if it's like a trap, like heavy
or very
heavy, explicit, So basically, so you can tailor yourself that, and then so we make money that way. Not a whole lot of money in it at the moment. I think we're very affordable and cheap because we've only just started. I know there is bigger PR companies out there that seem to be, in my opinion, really charging the artists too much.
Yeah, I think that seems to be a trend as well in the music industry. It's a very sharky sort of industry, talk about managers try to take your money, and record labels don't give good deals. I think that seems to just be a trend that you have to always watch your back within the music industry.
Yeah, totally. It's like it's a very big divide. It's like the very, very super rich, and then like the independent artist starting off that is really, really poor. Then there doesn't seem to be much in the middle, So it's like the big sharks, as you said, like the big PR companies are just charging loads of money, and we try to make it affordable for the on-sign and independent artists.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because being an artist myself, I just feel, I can't. It's just I feel guilty. It's just like
you understand the situation other people are in, and you feel more inclined to help them in that way, and to give them a bit of an easier start within the industry.
Exactly, easier start, and then if I make a little bit of money, I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, you obviously own the company, but you have someone else that would take over most of your marketing and digital for you. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with funnels and sales funnels for bringing people in your business. So it's something we use in marketing. Obviously, people listening will know. But basically, to help give them value to obviously the people listening within marketing, we kind of go in now and break down over people's funnels. So basically how your funnel, from what I can see from my perspective, would be how you sort of drive your traffic. I assume would be through, as you said, your bumper clips, word of mouth, people sharing these playlists. So if you are looking to do obviously this music production, music PR, you're going to want to look at what Colm has already said here today, which would be putting out good content, making sure it's professional, making sure you're actually able to drive traffic from your site and from your social media back to where you need it, which would be, your music video, your Spotify albums. You just need to make people actually want to go and listen and drive the traffic. And then from the sounds of it, when you drive traffic, your key is then just to get them involved, obviously get them on your playlist, get them engaged enough to share your playlist. And then I assume where your conversion event would be when these people are confident enough with you and they've seen you do it for other people. Maybe they've came and done one of your Monday clubs, and then the conversion event there would be that they've built enough brand engagement that the person feels comfortable just to sign and come with you guys. Then I assume that's obviously your end goal with every person you engage with.
Yeah, totally. I suppose the relationship with the artist then as well, meeting them, talking to them, they know we're friendly guys, we're not out there to rip anyone off, and that's where we get our customer base.
Awesome. So yeah, breaking down the funnels is a new thing, guys. I know a lot of you had asked for it, especially in the other music videos, like we done with Kevin. A lot of you had asked to break down funnels of how someone would do that. So hopefully, hearing that and hearing it from Colm himself here, because it help you guys sort of work out a strategy from going from A, B, C to D, and get yourself started. And I just wanted to ask you, Colm, if you have any sort of marketing tips for people, how they can market themselves and get themselves in front of producers and in front of people like yourself to take an interest in them.
Yeah, just getting your music online, sending it, using a good PR company is a good one as well. And the Spotify playlist as well. Like, I do get a lot of submissions to my Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
And there is, have you heard of gates? A gate?
No.
Yeah, so basically a gate would be, I'm only kind of learning it now at the minute, but it's really interesting. So basically you will have a song, so you'll give your song away for free online, and when people click the download link of the song, they'll have to use a submission gate, which means they will follow you on Spotify, follow your playlist. You know, there's different commands for the free music. You give them free music, but in return, they follow you on Spotify and generate these gates. So they're one to watch out for if anyone's listening. Maybe have a look into.
Yes, that's actually super valuable, that, guys. And what that obviously would be, what maybe just the gate is a different reference for it. What we would probably know it as within our niche would be it's a lead magnet. So basically, what Com's saying there is they would go on, they give out, here's the free link for a free track, but for that person to get that, they have to do something. In our industry, that's lead gen, which would be, give me your name, email address, phone number for then outreaching to them people. Obviously, within this sort of aspect, it is, click the button, and does it automatically follow the artist then on these sites once they click that button?
Yeah, it automatically is. Obviously, you would get like, are you sure you want to do this? Like you have to actually link in your Spotify account. I think you probably done it if you've done a pre-save campaign for anybody, or people say, here's my pre-save campaign, click the link to save my track.
Yeah,
that's basically,
guys, and that's actually the funnel itself. So how we would slot that in would be obviously running the traffic through these bumper ads and through the organic traffic, but then redirecting, especially if you're an independent artist and you're trying to direct from all of your own content, direct through this link. You're going to gain more following, but you're also going to be able to get more exposure on your track. It also looks good because you're going to be getting a lot more traffic going through, and that allows you to then start optimizing and start using things like SEO, start using paid ads, start using a Facebook pixel to track all of that data, and then allow you to retarget them. Plus, you have the ability then to create a mailing list, and then you can use that in the future. Anytime you've got an album, you've got a track, you can then start hitting them people with the alerts as soon as you drop that as well.
Next, we have episode 13, and someone who actually works very closely with Fluttertone as well, and this is Cormac Kavanagh from All Changed. If you don't know the story here, Fluttertone is obviously the record label, and Cormac at All Changed is a beat maker, he's a producer, so he does a lot of work with the Fluttertone artists as well, and also someone I've got to know a lot better since we actually recorded this podcast. And in this video here, Cormac is talking about how to actually build value and how to build value as a producer and as a beat maker. So again, if you're in the music industry but you're not into being an artist, and maybe you're a beat maker, maybe you're a DJ, and you want to know how to be better at that, please check out this clip. If you actually want to know more, feel free to go across. The link will be in the description. Check out the All Change YouTube channel, where Cormac actually makes a shit ton of videos teaching people how to make beats and how to use the different softwares and stuff like that there that are required to be a beat maker. So again, not something I know a lot about, but go check him out if you want to know more. He has a shit ton of videos, and he's always available on his Instagram, stuff like that there, to answer questions for people that want to help.
You're obviously working with Ja1 as well. Is there anything you can sort of let us know about that? Obviously, you might have things you can't talk about, but do you want to kind of just let people know what's going on there as well?
Yeah, so we've worked before, and that's actually a few of the instances where it's got shelved, and we did one recently, which I'm really excited about, and we've also got another feature on it, and that'll be coming out really soon. I'm actually, before we met in this meeting, I was finishing up the mix, and then I'm going to send it over to him probably tomorrow or the next day, and that's the one that we built a documentary about. The process of me making it, him writing and recording it, and how sort of two creatives from opposite views of making the song come together and make a hip-hop song.
Nice. And I actually did want to, I know we said we were going to talk about this because I find it really interesting. I know other people will as well. So this is actually a documentary series that you guys were originally going to do for YouTube, but it's now going out on Instagram, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, IGTV. I'll be popping up on YouTube too, but it just seems like there's more people wanting to watch it on there.
Yeah, and this is obviously working with various hip-hop artists, and it's really for fans and music creators to actually see what the process is and, to hear from the artist. And I think you had obviously said beforehand, the first episode with Ja1 is now released. It's on his Instagram, which, we'll link below for anyone who wants to go see that. Go check it out. Kind of want to break down sort of what it is you were doing in that episode and sort of what you were trying to get across to the viewer.
Yeah, so it's purely crossed my mind because hip hop is such a mainstream genre now, be it underground hip hop or trap or whatever. It's like it's the music at the moment, and there is a particular process of making a song that is in hip hop that isn't in any other genre, and it's this relationship between the producer and the rapper, or traditionally the DJ and the rapper. And so I thought I would just make a series that documents exactly that. So you see an interview with myself and the artist. First one is with myself and Jawan, and the interview is the recurrent theme that goes throughout. But what that's sort of representing is that is when you sit down with your artist, and that's the part that you really don't want to miss. That's you're learning about them, their life, their music, why they do what they do, how they do what they do, and that conversation is the one that's going to make the best song. So you can see then how when I'm making the beat, I'm incorporating what he's actually saying to me about his life or about what he wants to write about. And then we take it to him. We talk about his writing process. You get to actually see his writing process. We talk about his rapping process. You can see it. Then there's mixing the beat. There's getting all the processes we've discussed. I just decided to document them because there's something so unique about the hip hop process that if anyone's interested, it's one that you could copy and mimic and repeat over and over.
And what's the sort of theme of it then? It's obviously not scripted, but is it kind of set up in front of the camera, or is it kind of more kind of like behind the scenes type shot? What way have you kind of put it together?
Yeah, so I was doing the video editing for this one. We built a bigger team now, so hopefully the next one will be even better. But with me not being much of a video editor, it's very behind the scenes. You know them, like, you know, when you're watching like an Oasis documentary or something,
Yeah,
and the camera
yeah.
footage is like, you
Yeah,
know, so it's got
janky.
that edgy thing to it, and it's
Nice.
that's the vibe so far. We're freshening it up a bit for the next few. But really, to me, it's more about the content, and it's the fact that an upcoming music producer could look at this and it's like, oh, this is what I can do. This is how I can do it. And this is why it's beneficial to do it.
Yeah.
And an upcoming rapper can be like, oh, so if I actually got myself a producer instead of just buying a beat and recording on my phone, I could actually get this, this, and this. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good video to push for those reasons.
Nice. And obviously it's not just a one timer. You have the ambition to make this obviously a series, a lot more artists and a lot more episodes to come.
Yeah, and my vision behind it for me personally, because I'm not going to lie and say I'm a selfless person. There's a selfish vision there. And the selfish vision is it gives me the opportunity to work with as many local artists as I want. And it's a mutually beneficial project.
Yeah.
So we come out with a video which stars both of us. You can see what I do, you can see what they do. Great for both of us. And there's a song at the end of it which is great for them. They can go push the song and not charging anything for these projects because I've found a way to make working with new people beneficial for everybody. You make a living out of what you get, but you make a life out of what you give. And really your business should be based around giving. What can I give these artists as a music producer? What can I give these guys as a podcast show host, you know, as a media marketing agency? Just what can I give? What can I give? What can I give?
100%.
And for me so far, that's been working out. Is honestly the documentary idea came about because it was like, what can I give these guys so that they'll come to me instead of any of the other thousands of producers? And so far it's been a treat, you know.
That's it. And I mean, kind of in the breakdown of the marketing side of that, that's actually because I know I said I was going to start doing this a lot more for the people that were asking in terms of funneling and how we would know that as marketers. That's actually a really good point there in that you're kind of building yourself that organic custom and the organic client base by you have more to offer. Now, in a very loose sense, this is kind of like a lead gen and like a lead magnet where we would kind of have, you know, sign up, get this for free. And then you'd kind of go, oh, but you can have this. And, you know, it's the same as all gurus do. You know, there's a cheat sheet PDF. Here is my templates for emails. Here's boom, boom, boom. And essentially what Cormac's actually done is created his own value because he can then say to other artists, oh, well, look, you know, if you're going to work with me, I can put you on this show. I can give you that extra step and that extra ladder, sort of extra up
to get that track promoted. And obviously then you have the connections with Fluttertone, and you have connections with all these other artists within the industry, and you bring a lot of value to people that are actually looking to get into this industry as well.
Yeah, 110%. I love that. That was something that I was definitely looking at for a while, was, when you're advertising, selling beats, buy this, get 10 beats free. But then when you do stuff like that, it generally devalues the amount of work that I put in to make 10 of those beats. So it's always about finding something that doesn't devalue yourself, but also adds value to other people.
Next up, we have episode 15, and this was one I was actually waiting for a while. We had a 2-week break before this with me moving house into this new apartment with the new studio office space. But yeah, this was Sam Darcy, another good friend of mine through marketing. We both came through the Affluent Academy where we did market and stuff like that. But Sam actually blew up this year. The guy took it by storm. He had a good experience in the industry. So when he went and started his own business, the guy just fucking took off like a rocket. This is a guy that took a business from 0 to 6 figures in like 4 months. It was either 3 or 6 months. I'm pretty sure between that period, this is a man who went from 0 to 6 figures. 6 figures in that space of time. The man's an absolute workhorse. He's now released an SEO Google AdWords course. Go check that out as well. It's all over his social media. You can find it if that's what you're into. But this was one of my top marketing guests who I'd been waiting for so long. When I was finally able to get him on, the value he brought banged. I mean, this guy brought so much value. This was a podcast that you guys were actually messaging me about for 3 weeks after for follow-up questions. He banged it out of the park. So much value. He said before he came on, all he was interested in was dropping value bombs, and fuck, he dropped value bombs galore. It was insane. So this is just one of the clips. This is him talking about how he built his 6-figure agency. But if you're a marketer, go check out the other clips. They're on the YouTube. Hit that button, go check out the YouTube channel, and go check out the rest of these clips, because there is hella value in these. Hella value.
I think shortly I'll go way back to, my past and stuff, but just at the moment, I basically started up my own digital marketing agency. It was actually last year I started, but I didn't really do anything. I was working full time, just super burnt out. I wasn't really spending any time on the actual business. And then this year, I really realized that, I need to do this. I think I've always kind of had that entrepreneurial mind, and I was kind of sick of working for other people. So basically this year, just took a massive risk. Don't advise this to anyone out there, but just in order to kind of force myself to focus on my business and get things going, I just quit my job basically. And this was right at the start of the pandemic. So it's a bit of it was a huge fucking risk on my side. But yeah, quit my job, which, yeah, like I said, big risk. If I hadn't have made it work out, things could have gone really badly wrong in terms of me getting in debt and things like that. But anyway, luckily I managed to replace my work wage in just under 30 days, and we just hit 6 figures the other day, and we did all of that in just over 6 months during the pandemic as well. We're still in obviously we're both in the UK, still in the middle of the whole COVID situation. So yeah, it's just been absolutely nuts, man. And before that, I was working a variety of digital marketing jobs, but we can go into that shortly. But that's just kind of a brief intro on me. Yeah, 100%, man. So yeah, ClickScope's just a digital marketing agency. So we basically just help clients across the world grow, mainly using online strategies. So SEO, Google Ads, paid social ads, just to name a few strategies, basically. Work with quite a range of niches at the moment, real estate, e-commerce, education. And that's kind of what we do.
Nice. So as you said, we are going to kind of touch back into how you got started and sort of the more origin story, because as I think everyone who does market knows, all marketers have wicked backstories. Somehow we all have really good backstories and really good origin stories. So you want to kind of kick it off, kind of just tell people what it is.
Yeah, sure. So I'm literally like a proper average Joe. I went to sixth form. I dropped out after 4 months. I just didn't, when I was younger, I just had no idea what I wanted to do in my life. I'm 27 now. And I basically just dropped out of sixth form. I was kind of hanging around with the wrong crowd. I was just, I pretty much went to sixth form for the whole party lifestyle. Decided it wasn't for me. I think purely just because I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. And university just did not seem appealing to me. I think a lot of my friends have always been a bit older than me, and I saw a lot of people who dropped out of uni and kind of wasted a couple of years there. So I think straight away I knew university wasn't for me. However, I did find that was a bit of a struggle. I think with my grandparents and my parents, there was that whole stigma around you have to go to university to be successful. And I think I did have that pressure on me, but I ignored that anyway, dropped out of sixth form, basically just worked at like Tesco's warehouses for years and years. And yeah, I think it was when I was about 20, 21, I think life really kind of slapped me around the face, and I thought, look, I need to sort my shit out. Basically, I need to do something that I'm going to enjoy, you know what I mean, build some sort of career and get going, because I was just working these kind of, nothing wrong with these jobs at all, but I was not fulfilled in them. They're kind of just dead end jobs.
Yeah.
I was going to work, being surrounded by people that just looked depressed, and it was just absolutely killing me. So yeah, I think I just decided I really needed to sort things out. And that's where I decided to get back into, well, not back into digital marketing. ICT was basically something that I really enjoyed at school, so working on computers. And luckily for me, I found an apprenticeship. It was with a graphic design company in my local city. Awful apprenticeship. It was dreadful in terms of the training they provided. But I basically just dived headfirst into SEO and just was basically teaching myself digital marketing. And from there, just basically jumped about jobs, went like evolved into a digital marketing exec, and then worked at a few more companies and mainly just some other digital marketing agencies, which was great. That was where I really kind of evolved my skills. But I just still found it unfulfilling. I was sick of working 9 to 5 and having that strict kind of work routine, and some of the jobs I was working at was miles away as well, so I was driving the whole time, and yeah, just super burnt out. And that's when I decided to take the leap into the kind of entrepreneurial space. So yeah, that's kind of whizzed through my past there in terms of the job and college and stuff.
Moving on, we have episode 18, Eric Fassner. Again, another friend of mine through marketing within my network there. Eric is another proven marketer, proven skill, proven ability, and proven to make a fuck ton of money for his clients. Eric works in the remodeling niche. He's American, lives out in America, and he works for remodeling and like home improvement companies. But this is a guy that makes one of his clients, his very first client he ever signed, is still making over $250,000 a month because of him.
They do about $250,000 a month in revenue just from our service.
Let me just repeat that. His very first client he ever signed that is still with him is making $250,000 more a month because of him. If that doesn't fucking scream out how important and how beneficial social media marketing is, your head is twisted. And you know, fuck all, frankly. Fight me. What do you want to do? This guy could sell ice to an Eskimo, right? This clip here is his proven strategy for outreaching and to actually get through cold outreach on phones. Watch this. I said at the start, this was the very first clip that I actually put out for Instagram straight afterwards because it was so valuable, right? I know so many people have already hit me up being like, you know what, that one clip alone was so importantly valuable that I implemented it instantly within my outreach strategy. And that's other marketers, people within the Affluent Academy, people within the other SMMA groups that I'm in. Literally took that point, implemented it straight away, and seen success, seen benefit from it. So if you're not already checking out the clips from the Eric Fassner one, again, go check them out on the page. Go watch the rest of these clips. They are gold, literal gold if you're a marketer. Here it is.
And I think the biggest part where people go wrong with outreach is they try to pitch right away. Yeah. Like, you need to start a conversation, right? Like, I can't pitch you anything if you don't respond. I need to start a conversation first before I can even offer you the opportunity to be sold everything. And I can't sell you anything if you don't need it. I don't do the value approach. I don't send Loom videos showing them what they could be doing better. And I hardly ever talk about ads or like how I'm going to run the ads. Okay. I never do. I don't offer value before I set the meeting. I reach out to them and say, hey, Johnny, you guys do mostly residential work, right? Because we only work with residential contractors. Yeah. Say, yeah. Awesome. You guys are in Texas, right? Yeah, we're in Texas. How can we help you? Not sure if you can. We work with a lot of remodeling companies all over the US, and we're looking to expand into Texas soon. Or maybe it's we work with a lot of remodeling companies all over the US, helping them land more jobs. We're looking to expand into Texas soon. Assuming you guys take on these types of jobs, right? Yeah. Okay, great. Are you guys looking to grow right now and land some more jobs or not really? They're like, yeah, we are. Cool. You got 10 minutes tomorrow. I didn't offer any value. I just qualified them, determined they had a problem, said, cool, you want to talk about it.
If you're listening, go clip that.
So I don't offer any value when I set meetings. I spark curiosity.
That is.
I mean, I just gave you a whole outreach framework. Yeah, I gave you a whole outreach framework. But I think the key in outreach too is spark curiosity, don't give value. At least this is how I operate. Johnny's way, and a lot of people go on this give value approach. It does work. But I've found a lot more success in sparking curiosity so they want to talk to you rather than giving value and telling them what they're doing wrong. That's just my personal opinion.
100%. Okay, coming to the end now, we have, again, someone who is one of the most genuine people I have ever met. This is one of the most straight-talking, straight-up guys. That's my boy, Jose Lugo, American-born, lives in Germany, ex-military, U.S. military. He was intelligence ops. He was an interrogator for the American military. And he actually, when he left the army, he actually transitioned and became a business owner. He started his own digital marketing agency, the same as myself. And he's been blowing it up. And he lives out in Germany still. He's still clearing up some military stuff. But he is killing it, and he's actually using what he learned as an interrogator within the USA Army to be a better marketer, to use that to actually get within the headspace of his clients and to get within the headspace of their customers, to actually be able to break down the targeting that he uses within his campaigns and to break down how he can really connect not only with his clients, not only the people he wants to sign and he wants to make money from, but also the people he wants to help and who he wants to make that money for. And everything we talked about is sort of valuable. A couple of funny bits in his podcast. We were talking about like military stuff, and I asked him about waterboarding and stuff. So again, another hella funny episode, but also incredibly valuable, especially for anyone else in his position who is, you know, maybe coming out of the military, whether lads British, American, fucking Filipino, it doesn't matter. If you're coming out of the army on the civvy street, there's a lot of things that are going to be similar for all sort of countries, and he covers a lot of them and talks a lot about how to actually do that, how to go from being military to being on civvy street, which is military talk for civilian street, being out on regular life. And he actually gives a lot of detail within that on how these people can do this successfully and how they can build businesses using their military skills. And this clip is him just literally breaking down what it is he does, these skills that he's using to actually build a business and how he's doing it. And yeah, this was another one of mine. This was kind of a recent one, and this was a great podcast for me to record. We had so much fun sitting chatting.
Yeah, so for me, we call it ETS, estimated time of service ending. So during that time, my main focus was I'm gonna go to college, stay out here in Germany, attend college, and I need to find a job. Not required. I'm doing fine. Like without the SSMA that I built, I was doing fine. But I was just thinking, hey, I have this extra free time. I have these skills. How can I make this work for me? And so I've done all kinds of jobs throughout the army. Like when you're an interrogator or any we call it MOSs or jobs.
Yeah.
You do literally everything. Like you become like a gunnery sergeant, whether you're a sergeant or not. You become an expert at being a janitor because everybody's cleaning, and a mechanic to some extent. But with my job, I just kept thinking, well, they taught me all these communication skills that have really helped me, and we dove deep into psychology and how to, for lack of a better word, manipulate people into giving us information that we need, or whatever it is that we need, information or sales or whatnot. I kept thinking about that, and I've known this other sergeant that I actually have helped a few times with, like he has his own digital marketing agency. We just had conversations where he brought up the word white labeling. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And he's like, basically like, I have this client, you do work for them. Or you do the work for me and I take credit. And he was just saying, hey, do you want some extra cash on the weekends? You go with Photoshop. I'll teach you some copywriting skills. And I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. Didn't think much of it. I made a couple $100. Like, it was nice, but I was in the army at that time, so I didn't really need it. But it was nice because I was already living in Germany, and every weekend we were partying like crazy. So $200 extra in one weekend to go to Prague the next one and blow it out was very nice.
Yeah.
But so I was trying to formulate a plan, like, okay, how can I use these skills, and what do I know that I can do, like, while I'm living in Germany, but build. My point was I didn't want to pay German taxes. It goes up to 42% here. Yeah, it gets up there. Not that they're not using it right. Like, I believe Germany's, like, as high as it is, that you can actually see it work.
It's accurate for the economy.
Exactly. But I was still like, well, I still have, like, American citizenship. Why would I do this? So I decided, like, I kept Googling, like, how can I start a business in the States but run it over here? And I ended up, like, running into some YouTube channels talking about a social media marketing agency. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. My sergeant, like, I actually helped him out with this. And I got in contact with him, and he gave me some pointers. I asked him, like, how easy is this to do? He's like, well, based on what you did and the stuff I gave you and your background, you're gonna do fine. And then my main thing became, like, okay, like, so it's sales, like, getting clients. How can I use the communication skills to shift it? Because I'm not collecting intel from people. I'm trying to get a client. Like, I need a client. But then I needed to shift that to, like, okay, if I'm trying to get a client, obviously I'm trying to make business and money, but I can't have these people, although they know they're going into business with me when they go into a meeting, I can't have them thinking, like, this guy's main point is he just wants a client, he just wants money. So I had to find a way, okay, like, how can I use these skills? And it really translated so well to just basically, like, I do want a client, but if I want this client, I really need to help them.
Yeah.
Like, I need to make sure that they're getting their money's worth. And so I made that part of my, like, main motivation is I'm here to help you out. Like, and I have these skills, and I have, like, mentors that are right there for me, and this is gonna work. And I just mainly concentrated on, depends on every person, because everybody's different, but concentrating on, like, okay, I need to listen to who they are. Like, who is this person? What is their business, of course, but what are their motivations for this business? Like, personally, whether it's intrinsic or, like, external, and is it things that are tangible, like, I just want a big car, big house, like, traveling, or is it things like I want to be able to help my family and help the next generation set them up for success? And trying to use those things to let them know, like, hey, like, working with me is going to get you to that next level where I can get you the sales you need or the clients you need in order to get you closer to that goal that you have. Yeah. And so if it was somebody that would say, hey, I've been planning to move to Florida for the last, I don't know, 10 years. But my business it's just right there, but it's not getting there. That I would use that. I would be like, hey, like, if you're going to work with me, we're going to go ahead and get you the clients that you need. We're going to push you past that threshold. Your business is doing great, but you're not doing anything digitally. And this is going to get you to your goal. And just using that, as one person might say that's manipulation, but to me, it's just basically speaking to who they are.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's a case of, like, as you say, these skills are super transferable from what you were doing to what you're doing now. And it is, I suppose, just like, you need to disarm the person. And it's not dishonesty, it's just disarming them in the case of putting them at ease, making them feel comfortable, and kind of pulling the information that you need from them and then extrapolating that into what you can do for them and what that would then return to them. And I completely understand that. And I can see how that would be such a benefit for you as well, having such a profound experience in it, being in the military, using this for your career, essentially, for all those them years. And now being able, I assume you've had to tweak it a little bit and kind of adjust how you would go into certain situations based off of the fact that it isn't that original job and it is obviously regular business clients you're going into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for certain. So there's certain things that, like, there's, I can't even use this word. Let me find the right word to use. There's certain skills that we learned that they're obviously classified. And so they're classified in the sense that I can't talk about them. So maybe I could do some. But then there's others that are like, hey, this is classified. You can't just go around doing XYZ. This is like a federal offense.
Right.
And
So there is
so-
rules against using some of
Exactly.
the fair. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm aware of them, and I make sure I follow all the rules. And my main point is, look, I'm not trying to manipulate people here. I just want them to. I want to show them, like, hey, like, you hear that saying all the time. People don't invest in businesses; they invest in people.
Exactly.
And so I want it to be that, like, I know I am that guy. How can I communicate it to this person? How can I communicate it to them, like, hey, I am the right choice for you?
Mm-hmm.
And so I made sure that I was the person that they're investing in. And I've had examples like 2 weeks ago where I had a full conversation. We never even hit the business. Like, we just kept talking and just BSing and talking about life. By the end of it, she just told me, like, I really want to work with you. So, like, I really want to start in 2 weeks. Like, what do we need to make it happen? And I told her, like, well, this is great, but can I at least tell you what I can offer for you? Because and she was like, you give me the great vibe. Like, this, you're the type of person I want to work with. But yes, show me. And I was like, oh, I understand what you're saying, and I'm so happy. But I really want to show you what I can do for you. Exactly, because I don't want you to just throw money at me because you like me. Like, let me work for you as well.
Nice.
But yeah, it's definitely worked out great. Like you said, I've tweaked it. Can do certain things. I don't want to anyways. They're illegal, but it's fine. It's not necessary.
Now, of course, I could not do a 2020 rewind for this podcast without mentioning my boy Craig Coney. Now, I shouldn't even need to introduce it. I shouldn't even need to explain this. You should all know who Craig is because he's been fucking everywhere on my Instagram for the past 3 months. Craig is a hip hop artist from Dublin, Ireland, and he's actually signed with Fluttertone, and a lot of his tracks are worked on by All Changed. So you can see kind of how this all combines together. And in fact, the only reason I know all these boys is because of Kevin, who was episode 3 on the podcast, Kevin Maxwell, and he actually put me in touch with all these boys. But you'll obviously see, I obviously work with Fluttertone. Craig and a lovely lady called Roulette were releasing a Christmas track called December. You'll have seen that I was working on that as well. My company ran the marketing for it, and we done a lot of the promotion beforehand, and we helped sort of set up the campaign and around it and all the different marketing elements. And honestly, has been one of the highlights towards the end of this year has been meeting Craig. He's such a genuine guy. He's so loving. He's so caring for other people, and he's also a fucking fire hip-hop artist. And considering genuinely how short of a time he's been within the game, how good he is fucking terrifying. Like, you're gonna want to go check him out. His music's insane. He has different sort of feels to his music depending on sort of what the message he's trying to put out, but they all have that sort of Craig Coney sound. Craig has this sort of voice that is so distinguishable. Like, you hear Craig's voice and you know that's Craig Coney. And when we had him on the podcast, we were actually talking about, it was a big promotional piece for December when the track was about to release, but we also talked about him working with Fluttertone. We also talked about him working with All Change. We talked about him working with Roulette. We talked about the music industry and how it's been for him and how he dealt during COVID and the mental health issues that he suffered with through that, and that was a really big piece for us to talk about. And this clip is him talking about his advice for other artists and being so fresh in the game, what he believes our artists could be doing to help themselves and how they can promote themselves and better themselves and sort of propel themselves within the music industry to be better and get more well known. And yeah, super informative, super good value. Check it out.
Yeah, I think don't look for approval off anybody else. Once it makes you happy, you do it and you go for it. At the end of the day, life freaks me out, man. It does, because we're only here once. That's so scary. And that really pushes me to do and utilize the time that I have to do what I want to do. When I started doing music, I would message so many different rappers and singers and artists, and I'm like, hey, what do you think it is? Hey, what do you think it is? And I was just seeking approval all the time. And looking back now, I'm like, Jesus, what was I doing? And a lot of people slated me. When I put up videos, people commented and there were bad comments, and instead of me replying to the good comments, I'd reply to the bad comments. And Amy was like, why are you replying to the bad comments and not the good comments? So now, thank God, I actually haven't gotten a bad comment in a while. I think they eventually filter themselves away. But there is times where it gets tough. But what I do now is I always reply to the good comments, and if I see a bad comment, I just go delete, and that's it. You know what I mean? Because I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and if you've nothing to say, don't say anything at all. Like, you know what I mean? We're all human. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. It costs nothing to be nice. If you don't like a song, move on, and go and listen to one that you do like. For anybody, that's thinking of making music, just have fun, be yourself. There are good people out there that you can reach out to and get good tips off. And I think if you're not having fun, there's something wrong. Just make it fun. It can be really fun, and you can make money and be successful, but still have fun.
100%, man. So, any last thoughts other than December live now? Hit the link in the description. Go and stream it like right now, and go follow Craig on Instagram. But any final words from you?
Yeah, I just I'm just grateful, really, like to be here, and for anybody watching that's like thinking, oh, I'm never gonna get anywhere. Like 3 years ago, I was rapping on my couch, and I've played in the Olympia Theatre now. I'm signed. I've recorded in one of the best studios in Ireland. Met you, Johnny. You know what I mean? Music has brought me so many great things, and as I said, life is not a race, so just stop comparing yourself to other people. Focus on you. Start focusing on what you do have rather than what you don't have. And I'm telling you, that when you get that nailed down, everything else will literally fall into place. Like, it's crazy, man. I've become so spiritual lately, and I'm just like, man, like I look at my phone and I see 11:11, and I'm like, Amy, whoa, I'm on the right track. Here we go. Like, but just enjoy your time. It's you and it's your life, and it's only you and it's no one else. So just make sure you're having fun and focusing on you and not anybody else. That's what I'm all about. I just want people to have fun and just be nice, and just the world's already bad enough. Like, you know what I mean? So we need to try and spread a bit of that love.
Last but very much not least, we have episode 22, the most recent episode. Dustin Dixon, the author, self-published author that is, of the hottest dystopian sci-fi book of 2020. That is The Unnaturals. It's, in fact, I thought I had it on my desk. I don't, over on the bookcase, but honestly, probably the best book I've read, the best non-fiction book, the best fiction book that I've read all year, because I've read a lot of non-fiction as well. I read, when I first hit Dustin up, I hit him up because I knew he was an author and knew he was a self-published author, and that's what I wanted on the podcast. When I hit him up and I spoke to him, I realized how insane he was, like how nice he actually is. From that point, obviously, I picked up the book, I read the book. At that point, as him as an author, I fell in love with. And I wanted to know more, so it was even more reason to get him on the podcast. So I finally got him on. If you haven't checked out the episode, it was basically me just fucking quick firing questions at him. Like, I reread the book as well the night before we'd done the podcast. I reread the whole book overnight, and the next day I was just hitting him with questions. And at times I actually felt bad for putting him on the spot, because it was them sort of questions that, like, he didn't think anyone would ever ask, so he never really had a fucking answer plan for them. And then there's me stupidly asking him, and he's kind of going, no, no one's ever asked me that before. I don't know. And I'm going, oh, sorry, I've just ruined your fucking podcast episode. But no, even after, I swear to God, we ended that episode, and me and Dustin sat and talked for like another hour and a half afterwards. I mean, we were talking about everything. We were talking about like Call of Duty, we were talking about books, we were talking about story ideas, like getting a little bit of juicy gossip from him about the prequel and the sequel, but we can't say none of that. We move. And yeah, again, one of my, probably in the end of the year there, it was my funnest one, because I had such an investment in it, in terms of I'd read the book. I'm now a massive fan of not the book, but that sort of universe that he's created, and I can't wait for the prequel, which is a create your own adventure. I can't wait for the sequel that's coming out next year. And I had questions about the book, and I got those answered, as well as the fan questions. First time I actually had fans sending me questions beforehand, being like, can you ask Dustin this, can you ask him that about the book? And we answered a shit ton of fan questions, we answered a shit ton of my questions, and we just kicked it for like an hour, and it was good. And then we had an hour and a half afterwards to say, where we just chatted about it live. But again, awesome podcast episode. One of the most chill I've had, because, you know, I didn't know him beforehand, so I thought it was going to be kind of awkward. And even he said he thought it was going to be a bit like, but I mean, we started, and you get through that sort of first 5 minutes, and then we were away, and he killed it. He done such a good job in that interview. And yeah, I love it. So check out the clip. This is him actually talking about being self-published and why he chose to self-publish and how to actually self-publish your book as an author the correct way. Do's, don'ts, pros, cons, the good and the bad. Check it out. Was there, well, I assume there was roadblocks or sort of hiccups along the way that you kind of had to maneuver around, you had to try and work out on the fly? What were they for you, sort of issues you hit along the way?
Kind of the number one issue was just writing a novel itself, because obviously I've read hundreds in my lifetime, and I kind of had a base idea of what it would take, but writing it by itself with no outside help, really, like friends and family around me read books but have no idea how to write one, and that was something that I was a part of myself. So that was quite the challenge, as well as the fact is once you got into editing, trying to figure out how to make a story marketable, hitting the right plot points and stuff like that. That was something that I struggled with. And I stumbled across a website called Readsy, and that is a fantastic resource for self-published authors. Anybody out there who's thinking about it, I would look into Readsy. They have professional editors, marketers, cover designers, everything that you could really need to self-publish a book. So I went through them. I found a developmental editor who read my entire story and gave me a 25-page report, essentially, on her thoughts and what she thought the story could be, and what avenues I should take and changes maybe. So that was huge for me. So I took all of her notes and I incorporated them. And then then I started to think, okay, now I really have a story here. And then as a self-published author, like I said, you have to figure out the marketing game, which is a whole different beast, and took many months of research and trial and error, I would say. So yeah, there are quite a few challenges, but it's something that if you really want it, you will overcome them.
Yeah. And you obviously had to invest in this, like, that developmental editor wouldn't have been free. You had to obviously invest in this, and in essence, invest in the dream of having this book put to publication.
Yeah. Like I always say, you got to spend money to make money. So I did have to invest quite a bit, and I didn't really have a whole lot being a student. So I kind of put almost my entire savings into producing this novel. And it was just a risk reward kind of thing, a return on investment. And so far it has been worthwhile. There are many authors, I think, who kind of skip the editing and hiring professionals because it is expensive, absolutely, as well as hiring professional cover designers. And I think, like, I understand that is quite an undertaking, but it's also, I think, essential to selling a book. Like, you can't just put it out. You can't design the cover yourself. I tried, trust me, it looked awful. But here we are. So I think you have to invest in your own dreams.
And obviously, you don't study writing at university. You study political science and philosophy, I believe.
Yeah. No, I took a couple of creative writing courses because, like I said, it's something that I've always loved. But my major is political science, as well, and I also dabbled in philosophy because it's fun.
And did any of them transpire across? Did you bring any of them educational elements into the book?
Yeah, I think so. I think it translated pretty well. I have, I believe, elements of political ideologies as well as philosophical debates. And you can definitely get a sense of kind of my own personal beliefs as you progress through the novel. You'll kind of start to see, I think, a vision of the world and how it works.
Yeah, because that's something we'll get into when I ask you some question about the book, but I could see that very heavily, that you had put a lot of what could be seen as your own ideologies and your own sort of take on life and perspective on different elements in our own societies and life, and you put them into the book in a way that was so clean cut and was so concise and brought together. And I thought that was a really smart way of writing the book.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, and that's something I try to slip in. Some points are a little more subtle than others.
And that is it, guys. We are done with the Project Passion 2020 Rewind. Honestly, I just want to say again, if you've listened to even 5 minutes of an episode, if you liked it, you commented it, you shared it, you reviewed it, you followed it on one of the audio platforms, I cannot thank you enough. Honestly, you've made what was such a dream of mine to be a content creator a reality, you know, and the fact that I can do this, you know, I would have stopped if it wasn't people interested, but the fact that people are actually interested, people want to see the shit that I make is crazy, you know, like it's mad. And I appreciate every single person that has ever done anything to benefit me and to benefit this podcast or my business. You guys are the real MVPs, legit. And next year's just going to get better, you know. I have a shit ton of people lined up ready to come on for next year's podcast. And yes, for the people that keep repeatedly messaging me about it, we do have that one marketing person that you've all asked for. That is coming. We'll not say the name because then I'll get spammed with it again in my inbox. That is coming. It's in the works. I have to get them emailed and we're going to get it set up. But yeah, we got a shit ton of good content coming this year. If you're out there, you're listening. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a hustler, if you're a grinder, if you have a story you want to tell, come on the podcast. Hit me up, Messenger, Facebook. Let me know. Come on the podcast. Come talk about it. I'm happy to have anyone on. I love just meeting people. I love talking to people about their hustle and their grind, how they done it, why they done it, and how other people can also get benefit from that information. So, yeah, here we go, guys. And actually, year finished. 1 whole year almost of releasing podcast episodes. 22 episodes. Somehow we got there. The glow up from day one from the first episode has been immense. And yeah, there's only more to come, guys. So thank you again. I do appreciate it. We now went from using my girlfriend's mother's office at home to a room in my own place dedicated just to making videos and to making podcast episodes, which is fucking mad, to be honest. But yeah, we move. Here we are. 2021, hopefully it's a better year. Hopefully I can get some in-person podcasts done. Now I have this space, not just all Zoom, but we'll see. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. If you watched this far, you're the biggest MVP. Comment below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Hit like, hit subscribe, bang that notification bell on so you do get updates when the first podcast of 2021 comes out. It probably will be 2 weeks away, if not 3. But we're getting there. We're making moves. I'm trying to set a lot of shit up in advance so I don't have to then keep like fighting my way through and being so rushed between each episode. But yeah, thank you guys, and I will catch you on the first episode of 2021. Look out for it, hit notification, you'll find out. Go follow me over on Instagram, on Facebook, and you'll get notifications there. But until then, guys, it's been a pleasure. Peace.
Hello guys, how you doing? It's me, Jack, mate. You've just finished watching probably one of the best videos on YouTube. So why not take a moment to consider subscribing? And if you haven't already, hit the like button and turn the notification bell on. Apparently it helps. I don't know how. It was a good one though, wasn't it?